Absolutely. Yeah, I think are we looking at about 2 minutes? Does that sound good? 2 minutes and we'll get going.
Yeah, I think that should be okay.
Perfect.
Looking at 9:05 your time, I'd say.
That's great. Well, while we're waiting, I'd love to know out of people who are here, who is on Clubhouse right now? I've been going back and forth whether Clubhouse is a good idea or not. Anyone on Clubhouse? We're gonna know.
I am but I kind of have mixed reaction about what's really happening with there. It couldn't hold my attention, to be honest.
I just feel like I don't have the time to be on there. It's definitely worth giving it a try for sure.
Yeah, I got a bunch of
Tony
invites though.
says.
If somebody's looking for an invite, I'd be happy to send that over. I got a bunch of
Okay.
them.
Great.
No, I'm not even sure what that is. It's a new social media platform, Meg. You should check it out. But
If you have to have an
if you have an
iOS
iPhone.
device.
That's true.
You have
If
to
you
have
have
an
an
Apple
iOS
device.
device, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
I actually switched to an iPhone after good 10 years of Android, and I can't say I can complain. I mean, it's good. I'm pleasantly surprised, actually.
And somebody from Argentina. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Good. Well, I'm good anytime you are.
Yeah, I think we can surely kick this off. Thank you so much for making time for this, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a big list of people, of course, that registered. We are also recording this webinar. We're going to be taking questions at the end, and we definitely have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. And of course, Jordan, thanks so much for making this happen and finding the time to walk us through some of these mystical secrets that we've already sort of I have at least glanced through, if that makes sense. But talking about Jordan for everybody's benefit here, apart from the fact that I know that he's a great guy, what really matters is the kind of metal that he presents. He owns 3 e-commerce stores, so a lot of depth of experience of actually having run businesses similar to probably what some of you run here. And he's also the agency owner of this company called Mindful Marketing, which, as the name suggests, is a no nonsense growth marketing firm. I think if I was to talk about data, I know for a fact that an average e-commerce company in the States is likely to switch their agency every 6 to 7 months, and that's true for almost all companies. Also, because it's hard to work with agencies, as we already know it. But I think I can confidently say that's not true for Jordan, and we've got some amazing ideas that he's going to share with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, Jordan.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and that's really nice of you to say. I appreciate that a lot. So why don't I go ahead and share my screen and we'll start.
Yeah, let's kick this off, man. Let's just jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it. And we got people coming in as we speak here. So
cool.
I tried to make sure that you guys couldn't see the 7,000 tabs that I have open, because that is normally how it is. And I'm sure lots of you business owners out there are with me. So what we're going to be talking about is I'm going to be talking about a case study, but I'm going to be going back and actually showing you all of the sort of foundational stuff that you need to actually execute on what I'm talking about right now. So the title of this is How We Made $250,000 in 24 hours using the gated launch method. Again, this is with no Facebook ads. This is no discounts. This was just a launch, just a product launch. All right. So what we're going to be talking about today. So number one, 2021 success tactic is how we use the mindful retargeting framework plus SPA marketing to get a 25x return on ad spend on warm traffic. Generally, honestly, it's even higher at points. That, again, is going to be sort of foundational to what we're going to get to at the end. Number two is building unsurpassed loyalty through VIP groups and SMS lists. Again, this is something that I'm not seeing a ton of brands doing out there right now. And it's something that I think has really helped us succeed right now and continue to grow. Our core brand this year, we're up 93% year over year. And we're just seeing incredible results through this. And then 2021 success tactic number three we're going to put it all together, and I'm going to show you guys how to run a gated launch. And really, this is something that almost any brand can do. And I'll kind of show you what size of brands that this is appropriate for. So first of all, why should you trust me? So, it's funny, in this slide, this is a slide that I sometimes have used, and it says worked with well over 100 e-commerce brands. It's definitely in the hundreds over the last 5 years, anywhere from, $25 million plus companies to running multiple stores of my own. I own 3 brands right now, and I've got 2 acquisitions that are just about at the finish line here. And I host and I said, I think, popular e-commerce podcast, Secrets to Scaling Your E-commerce Brand. And we're almost at episode 200. So if you want to learn a lot about e-commerce, you can go right back there and have a listen to some of those. All right, I'm going to show you the last 6 months in our ad account, just so you guys know I'm not insane. So that's spending almost $177,000, generating almost 1.1 million in revenue, and that's just on the Facebook platform. So I don't love to get into return on ad spend all the time, because I feel like it's not the metric. It's just not the metric to always focus on. It's a really good lagging indicator, but it's not a great leading indicator. So I really like to just look at it to know that, this is how we still have to measure Facebook ads. And I just want to let you guys know I'm not crazy, and we get pretty decent results when it comes to especially cold traffic at a 4.49 over the last 6 months. And that's switching to the 7-day view, 7-day click, 1-day view attribution window. So that's one thing to keep in mind here. Again, we started our brand, our first little brand, Little and Lively. We started at our house. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this. Our living room was just absolutely packed with clothes. And that's where we shipped everything out of. And eventually, from 5 or 6 years ago, we went from in our house to, I just got a thing come up on Facebook. 4 years ago, we were creating our first space, our first retail space. And now we're moving into, a giant warehouse this year. So it's very possible to continue to grow, not only exponentially, but also just slow, right? Slow and steady. And that's the kind of growth that we've had with all of our businesses. So one thing I wanted to let you guys know, at the end of this training, I want to give you all a fighting chance in 2021. So I'm going to be giving away something that we normally charge $500 for at our agency. And it's to help your brand grow. So I will give you guys the details on that at the end. All right. So 2021 success tactic. This is tactic number 1. And tactic may actually be the wrong word. I mean, this really gets deep into strategy. And so I want to go through this, and I want to make sure you guys understand why this is so foundational and so important. So the common mistakes that we see is spray and pray marketing, right? You put out the same message to everybody, right? No matter what you're doing, if it's on your email list, if it's people coming to your website, it's spray and pray, right? When I think of what the guys over at ConvertCart do, they're actually analyzing all of these visitors that come in, right? And then actually figuring out what makes the ones that convert special, right? And then making sure that we're going to tailor our website towards them. So that's why I love working with these guys over here. So first of all, do not do this. Don't treat all customers the same, right? Every customer is in a unique stage of relationship with your brand. So don't disrespect them by treating them the same. We've created a framework for this, and I'm going to show you half of the framework today. There is a second half of this framework that I think is really where we get into higher customer lifetime value. There's just a bunch of stuff that happens after the first 5 levels of traffic. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of key points. So first of all, and this is pretty basic, and I think most of you probably already get this. If you're coming onto a webinar like this, you probably already understand this, but I just want to reiterate it because it's so foundational. If you don't have the foundation, right, this house of all these things you're going to do is going to crumble. And so I want to make sure you guys understand this. So customers should be segmented into different traffic levels, right? So purchasers are getting spoken to differently than cold audiences. I know it seems obvious, But it's something that when we do growth plans for companies and we look and see how they're running their flywheel or funnel or whatever you want to call it, like you're speaking to everybody the exact same, right? It'd be like I go and speak to my wife the same way that I go speak to a stranger, right? It doesn't work. We speak to each other differently, and we use different tone, we use different language. So again, everyone's met that guy, and that guy is weird. So I want to show you guys the basic framework visualization. You guys have probably seen this before, right? So level 1, people who have never heard of or engaged with your brand. Level 2 are people who have engaged. So they've maybe liked a post on Instagram, maybe connected with you on Facebook. Level 3 are people who have actually shown some interest and come to a product page. This is where I want to get everybody to. So think about this when you're running ads. Or sending out emails or any of that kind of stuff. You're trying to move people down. You're not trying to go, I wish you guys could see my finger pointing here. You're not going from level 1 down to level 5, right? Level 5 being the purchase, right? You're trying to move people from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4. It's not a, hey, buy my stuff, right? People are going to be turned off by that, right? You've got to move people slowly down the funnel. And that's how we get phenomenal results. And that's what this presentation is all about, and how we get to the place where we can do a gated launch and make 250K. And it's pretty repeatable, right? Because we've moved people down the funnel. So you can see level 4, those are people who have added to cart, but haven't quite pulled the trigger on that yet. And then there's level 5, right? And that's people who have purchased from you and become a customer. It does not stop at level 5, right? It does not stop at level 5. And that's really what we're going to be talking about today, is how it doesn't stop there. It continues to go down, right? And you're creating, at the end of this, you're creating, level 8, you're creating these brand advocates that will literally do the customer service for you. And that's what we're going to be talking about in strategy number 2. So how does this relate to retargeting? So the end goal, again, is always to move people down the funnel. The more people that you can get into your retargeting audiences, the better. Again, I can't stress this enough. You're just trying to move people down the funnel, right? Get them into your retargeting audiences. And once you have them there, and if they've shown interest in a product, so level 3, right? That's when you want to start hitting them with different offers because they've shown some sort of interest, right? And they might just need a little tiny tweak to the offer to be able to get them in. And the offer does not mean discount, right? They may not actually realize that you had like a certain product that would solve their problem. They had looked at a different product. And so maybe they actually wanted to buy a dress for themselves instead of for their kids. And so you're going to show them that sort of offer. That's why getting people into your retargeting audiences is so beneficial. All right. So special, this is kind of the first sort of aha moment that I hope that you guys have here. So the stuff before this, pretty foundational, pretty normal, I think. And I think that most of you probably know that. This one is incredible. So a special retargeting technique that we use is we hit first-time visitors with a brand story video retargeting campaign. So essentially what we're doing is running on all platforms, right? And especially YouTube. YouTube is incredible for this. So those first-time visitors are going to see our entire brand story. So we've got 3 with our main brand right now. We've got 3 brand story videos that we show them. So once they've watched the first one, then they see the second one, and this is all in YouTube ads as well as Facebook ads. And the return on ad spend on those videos is phenomenal, right? What it does is it just humanizes your brand. People still buy products, right? But if they're going to buy just products, if they're just looking for some product, they're going to go to Amazon, right? They're going to go to Amazon and just do some product searching. We're trying to do on, especially with Shopify brands, is build brands, right? And so people want to buy from brands. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. People want to connect with the brands. And so showing them, those first-time visitors, the brand story video is incredibly effective. And it's fairly cheap. All right. So once people are in your retargeting audiences, you can serve them up many different forms of content, review ads, catalog ads, abandoned carts, upsells, cross-sells, brand story, contests, all of those things. And there's so many more. But really, again, it's just about moving them from 1, 2 to 3. And then that's where the magic happens. All right. I'm going to give you guys a little technique that I don't see a lot of brands using. I see a lot of big brands using this one, but not any of the smaller ones. So SPA marketing, so social proof acceleration. So it's using the assets and the profiles of influencers that you've worked with for the purposes of retargeting. We write this into all of our influencer contracts now, that if we are going to work with them, that we get to use their page to run ads through. That's essentially what we're doing, right? So and then we can also use their audience as well, and we can target their audience specifically with our page and their page. And sorry, guys, if you have, I love to ramble and I love to speak. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat area. Is that right?
Yeah, chat or Q&A both are going to work. We already have one though. If you want me to throw that at you right now, or you want to take it at the end?
Yeah. Does it make sense in this context right now?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see an example of the brand story video. If you have one of those, maybe you can put it up at the end. That should also be okay.
Sure. Why don't we do that at the end, and I'll show you exactly what our brand story video looks like. And I'll actually even put a YouTube link in the show notes, or if you can search for the Kindred Studio on YouTube, you can find that there and put that in the link as well. Or I can do that at the end. Yeah. That's a great question. So first of all, you're gonna have to get their permission. Just going back to SPA marketing, working with influencers, right? So get their permission to use their page and their audiences, and you are going to be incredibly happy. So it's going to make your retargeting and your brand seem larger than life, right? So retargeting already, I mean, when you really hit people on every single platform, already your retargeting seems larger than life, right? And it makes your brand seem larger than life. But once you start having your influencers in on this, it's incredible, right? The first time I saw this was HelloFresh did it. And I was like, that's such a good idea. And they had tons of different influencers that they were working with. HelloFresh obviously is a massive brand. But what it does is it just adds to that trust tower that you're trying to build with your customers, right? Continually adding to that trust tower. It's kind of like SEO a little bit, search engine optimization, right? Where it's just real life search engine optimization where people are pointing at you. All right. And it's a great way to move people down the funnel, especially moving them from level 2, which is those engagement audiences, down into level 3 and then beyond. All right. So who is SPA for? It's for brands who already work with influencers, right? First, you gotta get your influencer game down before you try this. Second of all, it's for brands spending at least 10K a month on Facebook. Again, you guys will hear me talk about this a lot. Get your foundation right first, right? So if you're not spending 10K a month and you're not profitable at 10K, do not start to work with influencers. Don't try the SPA technique yet. Get all of that good first and then start to move on. And then brands who are prepared for a massive increase in orders. It's just an incredible way to get to audiences that you couldn't get to before. All right. This I am absolutely passionate about. Success tactic, and I'm going to call it strategy number 2. So building unsurpassed loyalty through VIP groups and SMS lists. Just for interest's sake, in the chat, who has a VIP group here? Can you guys put that in the chat? I'd love to know who is running a VIP group for your e-commerce brand. Do we have any coming through there on the chat?
We just got one so far.
Yeah. So
which is what I was expecting, to be honest.
Totally.
Yeah, so there's a couple more. There's a couple more.
A couple more. Okay. Well, I mean, this is incredible, right? The fact that there's only a couple in there, this is huge, guys. This is absolutely huge. So the reason that I'll give you just a little bit of backstory on this. So on my podcast, Secrets to Scaling Your E-commerce Brand, I had somebody come on and tell me that they were selling out whole collections just to their VIP group. They were only releasing them to their VIP group of 3,000 people. That's it, 3,000 people, and they were selling out entire collections. Like, what? How do you do that? So I did a bunch of research, tried to figure out how they were doing it, and then we started our own. And I'm going to show you a little bit about why I think that this is really next level. So first of all, this is 1 month in February is where I pulled the screenshot from a little while ago. So you can see our group I think it was about 8,000 members at this time. You can see in the group, in 30 days, we had 143 posts in that group, of which we probably did 2 of them. The rest were all user-generated content. So what happens when you think about those 143 posts? Those are getting circulated through everybody in the group all the time, right? So they post a picture of them with their kid and they're in their like matching outfits, and it just, what it does is makes you top of mind the entire time. It, like, we spend so much less on ads because we're in front of our audience all the time, but we're not the ones doing it, right? We're not the ones posting about how great we are. Other people are posting, and then they're posting questions. That's one of the big things here, is that people will ask sizing questions all the time, and we never answer them because the group answers them. You can see we have 6,900 active members in February and March. In that 30-day window, 6,900 active members in a Facebook group. It's just phenomenal. 1,400 comments in there in a 30-day span.
That's actually ridiculously high, to be honest. I've had exposure to a lot of group stats as an admin and otherwise, but I think that's next level stuff.
Yeah. I think it's because we continually are. First of all, people joining the group all the time, right? One of the ways, actually, and I didn't put this in here, one of the ways that we get people into the group is every single new customer that we get, we send a personalized video to. I could have done an entire presentation on how we do that, but we send a personalized video to them from one of our staff members with their name, what they ordered, telling them, asking them to join the VIP group afterwards. It's really incredible how that helps build the loyalty, right? Again, remember, you're just trying to move people down, right? Continually down the funnel. So this VIP group area, by the way, this is past level 5, right? VIP group is more like level 6 and 7. And then in there's going to be some level 8 people who are your huge advocates and will go to bat for you for anything. Okay, SMS. Sorry, I don't have a title on this one here. But I'm going to show you last year how much revenue that we attributed to SMS. So $711,000 off of a list of 9,200 people. Like, to me, that's just absolutely crazy that we were able to do that. I wasn't actually able to pull up some recent stats because we had switched from PostScript to Attentive. We have since moved from Attentive back over to PostScript. So in case anyone is wondering what the best SMS platform is, I really am going with PostScript. So
you're answering questions almost instantly as they come up without really even listening to them. So that's fantastic. Keep going.
Good. I'm sensing the questions.
Looks like.
Oh, there's my title. Good. So here's a couple of, it's funny. This is like, I think we started our SMS list right around here, right in like May, June. So you can see we're only sending to like 1,900 people. You could see that one that we sent out to 1,900 people, and we earned $10,000 from that little tiny list. So what I want to show through this is that little tiny lists can still be incredibly effective. I get these questions all the time, either from our staff or from people on the podcast or any of that kind of stuff about, like, when do you start with SMS? And it's like, well, you start yesterday. But if you didn't start yesterday, start now and just start building that list. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's just get through here. So I'm going to talk just a tiny bit about how to combine Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever ads is working for you and SMS. So what we do is we actually send people to a landing page, giving them some sort of discount to join the SMS list. So we'll retarget all of our level 3 people who have looked at product to join the SMS list and move over. And then we'll also target people who have not joined the SMS list as well with Facebook ads. It's a really great way. We had one, and I'm sorry I don't have a screenshot for this, but we had one campaign running kind of near the beginning where we had a 40 return on ad spend. That was just constant because these people were joining the SMS list and converting within about 7 days. Okay, so we're going to put it all together now. So that's sort of why I wanted to walk through all of this foundational stuff, because it all really matters. So putting it together in a gated launch, and this is really where I think things get up to that next level. So how it works. So what we do, and you can run it a little bit differently. This is not set in stone at all, but we password protect our site at least 12 hours before, right? What that does is it gives it the air of exclusivity, right? It gives people FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Because they look and they're like, oh man, I've got to like. I've got to get on this site. Like, how do I get the password? How do I do this? So on that password protected page, we tell people where to get the password. So they need to either join our VIP group on Facebook or join our VIP SMS list. And that's the two ways that they're going to be able to get that. And then we set a time and let them know, hey, at 10 a.m. for 2 hours, we're going to be giving out the password. And that's going to be the special time that you guys can come in to this and actually get into the website. So it's incredible. And I think I have a screenshot coming up to show you the insane traffic spike. So what I get a lot of times, and I'll bet you somebody's asking this question, at least in their head right now. The question is, well, aren't you missing out on a lot of traffic? And like, maybe we're missing out on a lot of traffic, but the traffic that comes in and converts is at like 15%, right? So why I love this method so much is people are making, again, you're moving people down the funnel, right? They're making micro commitments. So they come to your website and they see it's password protected, but they have the password. They enter the password. That's a micro commitment that they've made now to get into your site. It's almost like a pre-add to cart, right? When they come in. So now they're committed. When they've entered the password and they don't want to leave, right? There's this exclusivity now, right? It's like getting into like an exclusive club. I don't know if you guys remember, first of all, age range, getting into clubs. But second of all, and pre-COVID, obviously, getting into a club, you do not want to leave. Once you come through, right? You do not want to leave that club. So it's a similar sort of psychology when it comes to that. So then again, we have a very specified times. We send out an SMS at that time, a text message with the password, and then we let our VIP list on Facebook know. And like I say, yes, it is that simple. It's really that simple. We have run, I don't even know how many of these gated launches. Our biggest one was this one in August of last year. But since then, we've run others that are like 175K in sales, 100K in sales. Like it works. Generally, it's just a matter of not having inventory. And that's why we end up not being able to do the kind of numbers we had done before. So here is a screenshot from that day. So you can see right at 10 o'clock, we had 2,000 visitors show up. Right at 10 o'clock. It was absolutely crazy. And then the orders are just rolling in. You can see there's a bit of a dip at 11 o'clock. And then 12 o'clock is when we actually opened up the website to the general public. So what happens with all of that, right, is that those people then find out, and they see, stuff is sold out now. I need to join the VIP group. And so our VIP group gets an extra 1,000 members that day. It's really, really incredible. Look at the average session duration, 5 minutes and 19 seconds, and that bounce rate, right? So people, 27% bounce rate, which is like ridiculously low. And then the average session duration being 5 minutes and 19 seconds. Again, only because they made that micro commitment before do you get to see results like that.
And I can also see, sorry to interrupt, but I can also see about 50% of the traffic came back. I mean, they're revisiting you within the day because you've given them such huge FOMO that they just want to keep sticking around, which is amazing.
Totally. And what ends up happening too on to that point is that people say, they'll be like, oh, I just made my third order today. because they go in and they're like, oh, I need more, right? It's what I consider a flywheel, right? When you have all of this together, it's really a flywheel. I don't like to think of traffic necessarily as a funnel, right? You're not trying to trick people into coming down some funnel, right? What you're trying to do is build a brand, and a brand that just continually is giving, right? So that people will come and purchase, right? Yep. So what you need for this, so you need a VIP community to run the gated launch, a VIP community of at least 1,000 people that are engaged. To me, I wouldn't do it before you get there. Same with an SMS list. I wouldn't start before you have about 1,000 people on your SMS list.
So
You need to have
that actually, sorry to interrupt you. That
no,
actually
no.
brings up a question, which is a question that came from Daniel. He's in the audience. So the question is, how do you light the fuse in a group to get people talking and sharing? So because you're talking about 1,000 people that are engaged, right? You were talking about some 7,000 that are engaged in the groups that you're running. So how do you get the ball rolling on that?
Yeah, totally. So at first, it is not that easy, right? I'm showing you after we've built this list for this group for a long time and really nurtured this list. So at first, what it was daily us going in and asking questions to engage our audience, right? So first of all, you got to know who your audience is. So for us in this group of 3 brands, our audience is moms, right? Our audience is moms, generally 25 to 40, kind of in that range. So what we're doing is we're just asking questions that we know about things that we know that they care about. So every single day we're asking questions about that, and we're not making it about what we do whatsoever in those questions. Another great way, though, speaking of what you do, is asking them for their feedback, right? So say you're about to release something. I'll give you a really good example. We were about to release a Christmas graphic. And it was kind of a play on Home Alone's "You Filthy Animal." I forget what the phrase was, or the phrase is exactly, but it was a play on that. And so we asked them, "Hey, what do you think about this graphic and this graphic?" And people said, "We don't like either of them."
Right.
We're like, "Oh, you don't like either of them?" And we
Right.
had like 200 comments come in. "Hey, we don't like either of these." A few people said that they liked it, but for the most part, people voted and they said, "No, we don't like them." So we
Right.
went back to the drawing board, came up with 2 new graphics, showed our audience. They're like, "We love these." And then when we released it, we sold out within about half an hour.
Awesome.
So that's a really good way to, first of all, it helps your brand. So it's a win on that side. And it's a win for them because they got to give their feedback. And then you actually listened, right? That's the thing. People just want you to listen.
Yep. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
great question. I hope that answers it. So, what you need, you also need a brand and a product that people love, right? I think that really matters. If you're just selling functional products that don't really have a story, sorry guys, I don't think that it's going to have the same effect. I really don't. So making sure that you do all of those foundational things that we talked about at the beginning, right? And then for bonus points, involve your influencers, right? If you don't have the kind of reach that we have at our brands, then get your influencers in on it, right? It's a super exciting thing. Like, hey, this brand XY is going to be running this incredible gated launch. Go join their VIP group. It's amazing. Get access before anybody gets access, right? Perfect way to use your influencers to help you spread that message. And most of your influencers, if you create that good relationship with them, they're going to do it for you, right? They'll probably end up doing it for free or for maybe for product. All right. So imagine if you could cut your customer acquisition cost by just 5%, right? What would that do for your business? What about 20%? What about 50% if you could cut your customer acquisition cost by 50%, right? So imagine, right, combining what we talked about here in my presentation with a company like ConvertCard as well, right? So now you're going to get your conversion rate optimization up, which is going to account for 30% of that, and then you're going to get your ads cost down by 20%. And what is that going to do for your business? Well, it's going to make you profitable, right? That really at the end of the day is like, oh my gosh, now I'm actually not just breaking even or even losing money on acquiring customers. I'm actually making money. And there's a big difference in businesses that do that, right? Businesses that do that can go and acquire more businesses if they want, or you can just chill out or whatever you want to do. For me, I find this super fascinating. I love just the fun of it all. I love, having new brands and new employees and all that. But I mean, there's incredible things that you can do once you get that customer acquisition cost down. So how can I help you? You're probably wondering, right? So one of the things that I want to give away to you guys in particular is a growth plan. So if you guys want to go to Mindful Marketing, so that's the agency also that I run. So our agency runs all of our brands. So again, soon to be 5 brands. As well, we help other people. And what I would love to do is give you guys a free growth plan. So basically what we do is we take a look at what you're doing now. We analyze it all. And again, we're giving this away for free. It's something we normally charge $500 for. But it's something that I chatted with the guys at ConvertCard about, and I was like, let's do it. So just go to mindfulmarketing.co/grow and apply for a growth plan there. There is no expectations whatsoever. We love doing these growth plans. What it does is it gives us really good insight to the different industries in e-commerce. And then for you guys, it gives you guys an incredible chance to see how we run not only advertising, but all of the different levers that you can pull in e-commerce. So we'll throw that in after I'm completely exhausted talking. We'll throw that into that link into the comments as well.
Yeah.
So Shekhar, do you want to do you want to step in here for a second?
Yeah, sure. So I said there were going to be 2 giveaways at the beginning of the conversation. The second one is the other side of what Jordan's going to do. So Jordan's going to help you drive demand, right? He's going to bring people. He's going to make sure that you are taking your demand gen to the next level. The next part of that is to convert that demand into dollars, and that's where ConvertCard comes in. Now, one of the things that we do really well is we just make sure your site converts traffic into transactions. So what we're doing as a giveaway is a free, full-blown, site-wide, page-by-page analysis of where your conversions are not working, why they're not working. Because Jordan spoke about the cost of acquisition of customers. I think that's the number one metric that we've got to be tracking. There are 2 metrics that are going to make or break it for any e-commerce business: the cost of acquisition of your customer and their lifetime value. So you want to put them in a VIP group, sure. That's going to make sure they keep buying from you. There's some loyalty that you create. You can be a catalyst in that loyalty, basically. There are a lot of apps out there. I used almost all of them. I don't think anything works, as well as this. But if you have an experience that doesn't back it up, if you don't have an experience, a site experience, shopping experience that makes it easy to buy, I think the success sort of goes for a toss there. So this is what it hinges on. Happy to analyze your site. We'll anyways be sending the recording out for this. There'll be a request to ask for the audit or this growth plan. I'll send in both the URLs, and feel free to opt in, and we'll get ready. Now, Jordan, I do have a couple of questions coming along.
I know. I was just looking through the questions. There's lots of stuff.
Right. So I think the one that just came in is, what is the best way to get more SMS users? So how are you opting people in for SMS, really?
Okay, that's such a good question. I wish I would have covered that actually before. So this is super interesting. So the best way that I've found, I'll tell you about the best way. That's a little bit more expensive. And then I'll tell you about the second best, more cheaper sort of way. So the best way that I found is actually using an app called Recart. So Recart, what they have is this great little pop-up that comes on your site that uses Messenger, right? So it pops up and it says, unlock your mystery discount. So people unlock it. Now, first of all, when they click and they're then subscribing to your Messenger list. And I know Messenger, Messenger was huge a while ago, right? So yeah. Sorry, I'm reading comments at the same time. So then they're connected to your Messenger, which you can then use ads to send out to those people, right? You used to be able to send out for free, but Facebook changed that. It's still pretty cheap. It's about $0.01 per message that you're sending out to your list. For me, it's like, it's just a no-brainer to be able to send out to that list. So first of all, you do that. Oh, and I see Julian on here. That's right. I think Recart sent me a couple of bottles of whiskey because of you. So I'm appreciative of that. I found out in the end, I got some random bottles of whiskey and it was them. So you use Recart to gather. First, you get their Messenger. Second, you get their email, right? To opt in for the discount. Third, you ask for their SMS. I'm telling you guys, it's about 40% of people that go through all of that who end up clicking. So we're getting their email address, then we're getting their SMS contact, then they get the discount. And if they don't use the discount, Recart reminds them of that discount afterwards. So it is like, it's really next level, guys, using Recart. The other way you can do it is, say you're using PostScript. You can just use PostScript scripts pop up, and that's totally fine, or attentives pop up, whoever you're using. That's fine. But what I recommend is get the email address first. People are used to putting in their email address, and you will get way more SMS subscribers when you do email first and then second ask for the SMS. Again, it's just about moving people down, right? That's the whole idea, right? You're not going in for marriage right away. You're going in for just asking for their number, right? Or asking for email first and then number. That's really the key in all of this, is continually just think of everything you do in ecom like you're actually talking to somebody, and you're going to be incredible. And you spelled Luca, you spelled Ricart correct there.
Yep.
And you tell him that Jordan sent you, so I get some more bottles of whiskey. Okay, guys. I don't need that much whiskey. Yeah, so that's
you can send them my way. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Julian has a great point there, right? So you can then tag them, right, in your SMS program, whichever one you're using, and put them into a specific journey. So it's really it's super easy. You can put them into a certain keyword that that then gets linked with Ricart. So really, really cool stuff.
Good. So there's another one, which is, I mean, a lot of people are likely to find SMSs annoying. Is that true? Is that not true? Have you seen that feedback? And I'd want to weigh in just very quickly there. There's almost everything that is annoying, but also productive. Emails, people find them annoying. Pop-ups, people find them annoying. SMSs, of course, some people are going to find them annoying. I find them annoying to some degree, but I think you got to work on copy, work on doing them the right way. And I think you also got to, when you start doing them, data is going to tell you if it works for you or not, right? If you're gonna give people an option to opt out, I think that's going to help. What do you think, Jordan? I mean, have you seen feedback from customers saying that your SMSs are annoying?
No, because people know what they're doing when they sign up for the SMS list, right? That's why we have 9,000 or I think it's up to 10,000 people now on that list, rather than our email list of 60,000, right? That those people that join your SMS list know what they're doing, and they can opt out at any time by just saying stop. So you have to make sure you tell them. It's all a part of compliance. You can get absolutely burned compliance-wise if you don't. If you don't tell them that. So just make sure you say stop to stop. You could add that to every message. You don't have to be compliant, but it's a really good idea to just add that. Just say stop to stop, right? So that you don't want those people on your list, because it's going to cost you about $0.01 per message per SMS to send to them, right? And occasionally that's going to be multiple messages. So this is something as well, not to do a big pitch for Mindful Marketing, but this is something that we do at Mindful Marketing, is we manage people's SMS lists because we think it's that incredibly important. And it's really what email was about 10 years ago. And it works so incredibly well. I could send out an SMS right now with a quick offer and probably generate $20,000 of sales. Like it's kind of mind-boggling how incredible SMS is. But the issue is, if you're not compliant, you can get dinged $500 per message if you're not compliant. So you better make sure you're compliant. So that's, yeah.
Got to make sure that I've had a couple of clients that have actually faced that, and you've got to be super serious about that. We do a lot of pop-ups for our clients, and one of the things we do is we can also A/B test them. So we do full-blown conversion optimization, right? So we also A/B test 2 different pop-ups, and we have integration with Ricart, we have integration with PostScript. So because we're able to A/B test, we're able to arrive at a setting where instead of spamming all of your users with those pop-ups and having everybody opt in, you could actually go after a segment or a part of the audience. For example, you were talking about people who reach the product page and you would want to retarget them in a specific way.
Yeah.
We can create very specific segments and say, I want to go after mobile users that are coming from my paid ads, from a specific, maybe with a specific UTM parameter, specific ad itself. And I want to show them a specific kind of pop-up with a specific kind of offer, and then have them opt in. So when you go to that level of optimization and specificity, that's when you're making sure you are signing people up on your SMS or email list with the right intent, and chances are they're not going to find it annoying then.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you added that in because yeah, that's definitely something that you guys can help out with as well, right?
Absolutely.
I actually wanted to. I forgot about this in this presentation, but for people who are still on right now, which is a large majority of you, we actually have a checklist that goes through every single one of these steps in a sales launch. And so it goes from 2 weeks before to what you actually do on launch day. So are you okay if I share that link?
Go
Shikar?
ahead. Of course.
Yeah, perfect. So it's SLC, stands for Sales Launch Checklist. So just putting that in there if anybody wants to check that out, because I think it can be super helpful. I saw another question here: gated launches on weekdays or weekends? Definitely weekdays, but it really depends on your audience. For us, we know that moms, families generally are pretty busy on weekends, so we do weekdays at 10 a.m. That seems 10 a.m. Pacific. So that seems to cover North America pretty well. Kids generally are going to be in school during those times between 10 and 1 p.m. Eastern, which is kind of the majority of where our customers are. So, somebody asked, do you recommend fulfillment by doing service or doing your own fulfillment to start? Personally, I think if you're just starting out, doing your own fulfillment is very important, and understanding what needs to be done and all the special things that you can do with your fulfillment. I think that's really, really important. That's a great question. And then if you can go to a third party, for sure do it. Unless you're like a fulfillment expert, but knowing the ins and outs of it is really, really important. We've got a couple more questions here. So somebody asked Postscript.io. Yes, I believe if you just search Postscript in Google, Postscript SMS, it'll come up. And one thing to note with Postscript, sorry guys, is they only work with Shopify. So if you're on a different platform, I then would go over to Attentive. They would be my second choice. If you go to Attentive, say that you heard of Attentive from Jordan. I don't get anything for it, but you will get better pricing from Attentive if say Jordan told us the pricing, and you will get better pricing. So just letting you know that. Oh, perfect. Sean at Postscript. Great.
Yeah, I think
Julian, you've been just a great helper here. Great. I'm going to go back because I know we had a few other questions. Shikar, any that you have seen?
No, I'm that's what I'm trying to spot. There's a lot of movement, but I don't see any. I think there's, let me just go through this real quick.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. And if
Will
you
I get a replay? Yes, you'll get a replay. We are gonna send that out as soon as the recording's ready. I think Zoom should send one out almost instantly as soon as it's ready, without even asking us. So you should have it in your inbox.
perfect.
Question about the retargeting story format. Yes, so I did have that YouTube video. I'm just gonna send that over here. Give me a second.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. That's great.
The one that I found was the Little and Lively 2020 dresses. Is that the right one?
No, that is not a brand story. I will. Why don't we send that out? Can we send that out in the email after, and I'll find one of the good ones.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I just don't want to stop this. It'll be a little hard. I'm just on one monitor right now.
Yeah. Okay. I found this is the About Us or the We Are Built Around Family video.
Oh, perfect. That's one good one. I think we've got about 6 or 7 right now.
Yeah, you've got a bunch of them. They look nice.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah, you can put that one in there. Let's see if there's some more. So best way to get SMS users. We went through that. Retarget story ad. Oh, this is a really good question. This is a great question from Soul, I believe is how I say the name. How do you believe SMS results don't interfere with your email list when you promote the same content over email? Shikar, do you want to answer that? Because I feel like that's kind of up your alley. Like, there's a bunch of ways you could do that.
Yeah, I think the secret is in getting the sequence right, and as Jordan mentioned, you got customers that are sitting in separate segments or separate, you would say, stages of that funnel, and you are tying down your messaging and the sequence in which that messaging goes out to these people to each step of that or each group. So that's how you're making sure. Instead of, because because the first thing is don't use two separate apps to do that. Or if you're doing that, make sure they don't you're not sending the guy who's sitting at the top of the funnel messaging from the bottom of the funnel, because you want to use SMS at the right time and you want to use the right kind of messaging because we've already established that SMS is sort of a little bit a tricky area. You don't want to really spam people. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, totally. So the only other thing that I would add there is just if you don't trust the in-platform statistics, which I never do. So that's $700 and whatever $1,000 of SMS there. I'm not necessarily trusting that that's not overlapped with some of my email, right? But what I am trusting is Google Analytics. So I'm going to tag everything with UTMs and then actually go in and see which one was the last click that converted. Also, I don't mind there being some ambiguity if we're continuing to grow exponentially, right? It's okay if there's a little bit of ambiguity in my mind, but that's a great question.
Would love to understand your approach to level 1 customers. How do we fill the top of the funnel?
Yeah, there's a few different ways, right? Like if you're a brand heavy product, so actually let's start first. If you're just a product based company that's trying to build a brand, I would probably go with your best seller. I love the way that I do for all of our clients as well as our brands. I like cheddar style videos, right? Ones that do that little explainer about your product. So if it's a special product, like I had a guy on my podcast a while ago, Craig from Pajamas, right? Really cool product, would be perfect to have an explainer video. Right. So that's the kind of stuff we make for clients at Mindful Marketing because we find that works super well top of the funnel to get people interested in the product. Right. Or like for us at our brands, two of our brands match really well together. So top of funnel, what seems to work really well is like twinning videos. Right. So like, oh my gosh, you can match with your daughter and it's not cheesy. Right. It's actually like really just like a really nice matching outfit. So that's the kind of stuff that I use. It kind of depends on your specific use case, Julian. Like I wouldn't know. Yeah. But what I wouldn't recommend is just going straight to the sale, right? With a discount. That I do not recommend trying to discount people in your cold audiences. Hopefully that helps a bit. Awesome. Good. Anybody else out there asking questions? I know we're kind of nearing where we went a little longer than we were planning on. So
we've got Sharon and Francois raising their hands. You guys mind putting up your questions in the Q&A section, please? Okay, we've got an open-ended question here. So we are 6 weeks old. Biggest tip as a new brand. That's from Meg. So you wanna go ahead. I was gonna ask you to go first. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I just jumped right in there. So biggest tip for a brand new brand would be, so I talked to the CMO of Movement Watches. And I asked him, I said, what would you do differently when you first started? And he said, I would have poured everything that we had into paid advertising. And I totally agree, because until you really find that product market fit, it's going to take you forever if you can't pour money into advertising, right? To try and slowly build up a group. So whatever money you have, pour it into advertising. That would be my recommendation. How about for you, Shekhar?
So most important thing you're gonna invest in is making sure you have a very confident conversion funnel. The thing is, for example, Jordan mentioned that you got to be spending $10,000 a month and profitably doing that to be able to sort of execute this strategy of a gated launch. If that's not going to happen unless you convert your first time, second time visitors, that's the real goal. And no matter how much money you invest on ads or any other strategy, if you're not converting them well enough, if you're not watching data of why people are buying on your site, what are they engaging with, why are they not doing it, it's not going to work. Especially if you're upwards of 20, 30,000 in traffic and you're not A/B testing rigorously, if you're not, continuously, obsessively optimizing your experience, almost every new strategy is going to fall flat on its face because people are going to, at the end of the day, come back and buy. The only thing I like about gated launch here is that the user motivation is so high, especially for those VIP users. That experience is going to matter only to a limited extent. But for them to become a VIP, for them to become a first-time buyer in the first place, and then elevate to go to become a VIP, to end up becoming a VIP with you, I think you got to first have them experience your brand in the first place. Place that first order. And the most important thing there is, have an amazing search, have social proof on your site, highlight your value prop, A/B test your product pages. That really, really matters. Get your story right. Test out different things you can do with your cart. Have your email sequences sorted. And that's when you will see money falling through. And then you're thinking about growth. You got your fundamentals sorted. That's when you can really focus on growth. So I'd say invest a lot of time in analyzing data and understanding what's working and what's not working. The data is king. There's really no debate there, for at least in my mind.
See how we come at it from different angles, right? But it's all the same goal, right?
It is.
In the end, you have to know what is going on in your site. But if you're not driving traffic there, you can't know, right? So
that's true. So Printful, Alexander, I'm finding it hard to understand your question. I don't know, Jordan, if you get that.
Which question?
There's so Printful is to seen as for a sidekick, not for a brand. Is that? I don't know what that means.
Yes. Yeah. Can you clarify if you're still on,
Alexander?
Oh, Printful. Yeah. Okay, so no, Printful's not a terrible way to start. It's just not they don't leave a ton of room for profit with them.
Okay.
So I think it's a great way to start and to try to validate the brand that you're trying to build, to use Printful. I just personally don't. I like having more control in our businesses rather than Printful being the ones who have the control. It also just doesn't allow for bigger cost per acquisition. And yeah, like the fulfillment is great. It's a really great way to validate your what you're doing. Or if you already have a big audience and you now want to sell them something, that's a great way to start, is with Printful.
So here's one which is right up your alley. So why are the VIP lists so excited to log in and start the activity on your website if you're not giving them an exciting discount? Why are they really jumping on to the gated launch in the first place?
Because of FOMO, right? Because they are so scared that they're going to miss out on these new products that we've launched. So what I forgot to mention was, for 2 weeks before, we're showing people all the new products that are coming out. And letting them know, like, hey, we only have limited supply. For us, we with this particular brand, we make everything in Canada, so we can't make massive quantities of stuff, and so people know that. So selling out is a great thing for your brand if you can strategically sell out. That's why people continue to come back.
Absolutely. There's another interesting one, which is I'm a new Italian-based shoe company. Italy-based shoe company, I'd say. How do I get my customers engaged with custom shoes? I think the thing with custom sort of any site that's selling customized products is you've really got, in my opinion, you really got to have a very strong top of the funnel, as Jordan has suggested, to have mentally made the sale in their minds before they even come to your site to work on the customization. Because if you've not nurtured them enough and you're expecting them to just land up on the product page to look at the customization, because customization is not the value prop, it's what you get, the comfort, etc., whatever benefits you get out of buying shoes from your company. The other piece that's super important is when you do end up getting them on your site, the experience is going to matter a lot. Of course, the fact how the customization experience itself is. Second is, how well of a job you can do to sort of keep them on your site so that they actually listen to the story that you have to tell about your brand. And I've seen for custom product sites, that generally the ones that don't do well have a very low time on site compared to their competitors. We can look at some industry benchmarks, probably advise you, but you know, and low time on site is directly proportional to the fact that they're not engaged. You either with the story or with the product itself. Have you worked with one of those, Jordan? You have something to add
in the custom space?
Yep.
No, we run promos. We actually just ended a promo, a custom name shirt promo or a personalized shirt promo. And for us, the reason why I think it's successful is that we only run it every once in a while, and people don't really know when we're going to run it. But yeah, I mean, the big value prop is what they're going to get at the end, of course, right? They've never been able to find shoes that quite fit them, that they can make themselves. So I'd really like just go heavily on before and after in your marketing, before being frustrated with every shoe that they try to find, and after being finally I can find shoes that are made exactly for me.
True.
I know it's simple, but yeah. That's great. Any other questions out there?
So we're going to take one last one, which is about this, which is from Chandan. I have a company providing educational services. Our courses are starting from $100. Mostly it's very hard to convert them because, when they buy online, they always ask for trials or discounts because these are courses, I'm guessing. How to fix this problem? Any suggestions, please? I'd want to again go back and look at data first. Look at what the sources of traffic are. If there are people who are engaging with your chat or asking you for those discounts or hopping off from the transaction pages, I want to look at what their sources versus the sources of traffic and behavior of the people that are actually ending up buying. First, I'll encourage you to get more people that are in the latter group, which is people who actually buy from you, because you're probably attracting them with the wrong motivation. If that's not a problem, then it's got to do with the fact that you've probably set or you're in an industry which is probably too discount heavy, or you've set an expectation somewhere in the journey. So we used to work with Prep Expert. I don't know if you've heard about them. They're Shark Tank. They're one of Shark Tank's bigger brands. And this guy who's scored like crazy scores in his SATs. He started a company and they do coaching and really, I think there's really high order value. And what we've seen is people were taking multiple visits to the site before they were actually transacting. But what was really happening is it was the visit. It was the first visit that was the longest. So they would do their recce in the first visit, then they would consider, and then make a transaction. So because the consecutive visits were shorter, the effort we would put in optimizing the experience for those consecutive visits would actually make those transactions go up. So it was a really tough job to optimize for that. But I think data will probably have the answer. And happy to look at your side, of course. But I think that's probably what's going to help.
Yeah, totally. I think you answered that great. I wouldn't have anything else to add.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. There's another question from Rahul. I'll answer that over email, Rahul. It's a really long question. I want to make sure that I do justice to it. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna, of course, and Jordan, thank you so much for making this happen. I think some really solid advice here. Naturally, the recording is going to be in everybody's inbox. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. That was an absolute blast, guys.
Right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.